Welcome to the Methodology Institute's Alceste video tutorial series sponsored by the LSE Annual Fund. In this tutorial, we will show you how to prepare your text corpus for the Alceste analysis. It is important to know that Alceste can only analyze one file at a time. This means that all the text you want to include in your analysis needs to be in one single file. Also, Alceste can only analyze TXT files, like this one. The easiest way of producing the single text file is to use Microsoft Word. We will also be using Word to prepare the text for the analysis and only start working within the Alceste program once the text is ready to be analyzed. I have now opened a Word document that has all the text in it, and I can start preparing it for the Alceste analysis. Star signs and dollar signs are functional within Alceste. If Alceste finds them somewhere in the body of the text, this will cause the analysis to terminate. So as a first step, we need to remove these signs from our text. The most easy way of doing this is to use the find and replace function within Word. So we search for the dollar sign and we replace it, for example, by the word dollar throughout the text. In a similar way, we then search for the star signs and replace them, for example, by a space throughout the text. A further particularity of the Alceste program is that words that consist of only capital letters will be dropped from the analysis, for example abbreviations like EU, US or IT. If you want to prevent this from happening, you need to change words or abbreviations that consist only of capital letters to lowercase words. Again, the easiest way of doing this is using the find and replace function within Word. For example, the abbreviation US can be replaced by the single word United States. Be careful with words like IT. Simply changing them into lowercase might change their meaning entirely. Don't worry if you don't know all the uppercase words and abbreviations in your text. Once we have run the first Alceste analysis, you will see that Alceste produces a list of all these uppercase only words as part of the output. So you can simply wait with these changes until you have the results from your first analysis. The final step of the preparation is to add tags to your data. The tags are the passive variables in the Alceste analysis. In our example, the data corpus consists of newspaper articles. If we wanted to analyze differences in discourse between these different newspapers, we would then tag each article by newspaper. For example, we could tag an article from the Guardian newspaper as Guardian. For the tags to work, we need to first mark the beginning and ending of each newspaper article, the so-called initial context units. We do so with 4 stars, a space, a star and then the tag. We use the dollar sign to mark the ending of each newspaper article, and then begin to tag the new article again with 4 stars, a blank, a star and then the tag. It now becomes apparent why we had to remove dollar signs and stars as a first step of the preparation. They are used to mark the beginning and ending of each text unit. You can use more than one tag. To add further tags, add a space, a star and then the additional tag. For example, here we have now tagged the newspaper in which this article was published as well as the year in which it was published. Keep the tag names as short as possible. If a tag name is too long, it might terminate the analysis, and the graphs we receive as Alceste output are easier to read with short tags. Once you have finished preparing the text, you need to save the text as a TXT file. To do so, go to File, choose Save As, and then select TXT file from the drop-down menu. Choose a short name for the TXT file as well as for the folder name, with no more than 8 characters, containing only letters and numbers and no special signs or spaces. Then press Save. As you press Save, a dialog box opens up. In this dialog box, you need to tick the box Insert Line Breaks. If you forget to tick this box, the Alceste analysis may not run. Then press OK. Make sure you have saved the TXT file into a folder directly on the C drive, with both the TXT file and the folder having short names. Now go back to Word and close the file. Once you have closed all programs, we are now ready to run the first Alceste analysis.